Welcome to Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host, Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. We know that life is tough, but can you imagine life as an adolescent, a young adult facing new relationships, getting out in the workforce, just getting out there, starting a family, dating, schooling, socializing. Remember all that? Remember that? Remember what energy that took? Well, imagine being out there as a young adult, as an adolescent, while facing being a cancer survivor. That's got to be the toughest of all. Now, for years, there has not been a support group for this population, for adolescents and young adults. There has been one for kids and older people, support groups, but one has been formed by the University of New Mexico Comprehensive Cancer Center at the University Cancer Center in 2023, and my guest is the co-founder of this support group. We're going to talk today about why it's so important for adolescents and youth to have a follow-up support group. The co-founder of Outliving Adolescent and Adult Cancer Group is going to tell us about all these things. Now, I told her it's adolescents, youth, and youth adults. And I said, well, that means that means wonderful. But my guest today is going to tell us all about the adolescent and youth, young adults in this cancer program that supports so many for so many reasons. So please stay with us as we learn about the support group. Welcome back to the program. For all of us at any age, especially my age, just out there living, getting out there, it's tough. But again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, that's tough when you have so much living to do. So much to do with your schooling and with your dating and with your family. Just being able to schedule your medical appointments is tough. Well, there's a group now, Outliving Adolescent and Young Adult Cancer Group, knew that kids, young adults, were juggling so many things and they needed support. So this peer interaction is especially important for these young people. For all of us, but remember back then it was really important as young 18 to 49-year-olds just facing the world yet facing all these medical appointments. That's tough. Jade Shelley is my guest, and she is the co-founder of this program. As a young woman, congratulations for coming up with this, Jade. Please tell us your story.
Absolutely. I was diagnosed with stage 3C cervical cancer in February of 2021. I went through 3 different types of treatment for my cancer. I did chemotherapy, radiation, and then there's also internal radiation. And so I did all 3, was it considered in remission in September of 2021. But during my treatment, I was trying to find support, especially with COVID being very active at that time. I wanted support, and I was able to find a few groups, but nobody my age. My diagnosis was a little bit younger for my cancer, and
how old were you?
I was 36 when I was diagnosed. So young adult is up to 39, being diagnosed anywhere between 18 and 39. So I was 36.
And why did you want? I mean, we all needed support, of course, during COVID, but you as a cancer survivor, what were your feelings about wanting support?
I wanted to know if what I was feeling emotionally, physically, if it was normal, because there's a lot of weird, quirky things that happen. And so I wanted to just see what others, if they felt those things, and also, 2, how they handled it, to see what advice I could get, because I had very limited interaction with cancer survivorship and cancer treatment beforehand.
Because you didn't know people. You didn't know people.
Right.
Fortunately, you didn't know people who had to face all of this.
And so with that, I wanted just that support and somebody to bounce ideas and questions off of. Couldn't find anything. So I asked my oncologist during an appointment one day, are there support groups? And she hadn't really heard of anything, unfortunately. So I brought up, there needs to be one. And I started having that conversation with my oncologist at that time. She had reached out to Amy Gundelock, who is our mentor for the group, and let her know that I was interested in something. And Amy was able to send a group of us to a young adult cancer conference. And that year, in 2022, it was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. None of us knew each other before we went. We met at the conference and just became fast friends. One of those people that I met was Tyler, and we came back to Albuquerque from that conference ready to start something here in New Mexico, because there wasn't anything. We enjoyed the camaraderie we had with people, the just friendships and community we built in just a few short days, and we wanted that to continue and to bring it to people who weren't able to go to the conference. And so we started the group officially in January of 2023, and it's been absolutely wonderful to be able to bring that. And it's also been part of my healing as well through my cancer journey, and being able to just help others. And one of my passions now is to make sure nobody feels that kind of lost that I felt during my treatment. I want to be able to be that support to others and be that sounding block that I was looking for.
And again, this is through the University of New Mexico Comprehensive Cancer Center.
Yes.
If they haven't gone through the University of New Mexico, you still welcome any cancer survivor.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have some of our members had treatment. One that I'm thinking of in particular, she had treatment in California and moved here for work, and so she's become part of our group. We have folks that have been treated in northern New Mexico, southern New Mexico, Colorado. They were treated and now live here, and they're more than welcome. So anybody who is in that age range, 18 to 39, wherever they were treated or even actively in treatment now as well, are more than welcome to be part of the group.
You went to the conference, Jade, in Minneapolis.
Yes.
For adolescents and young adults.
Yes.
Who had cancer.
Yes.
So was that a support group, or what was that? Just a conference about what?
It is sponsored by, it's a national nonprofit called Stupid Cancer, and they put on an annual conference for cancer survivors worldwide. And it's just a way to come together and be educated on what's new with young adult cancer survivorship, with the medical new things that are going on medically, and also just a chance to be together with other young adults. Sometimes for some people, this is their only chance to be around other young adult cancer survivors. And also it's a chance, like I've made friends from these conferences. I've gone 3 times now to this conference. I have friends in Wisconsin, California, New York, Illinois, and this is our chance to get together and just have fun. And it's also a way to bring others together and just have that camaraderie. And it's been an amazing experience. And
did these other states or other cities have survivor groups?
There are
supports?
some. There's a few. We work closely with Stanford. They have an adolescent and young adult group there, and we've been able to work with them and just help each other, because we run our groups a little bit differently. Our group is more of a grassroots kind of building on what we do. Theirs is a little bit more attached to the hospital, and they run a board and things like that. And so we work together where we're able to get more of their officiality, if that's a word, for what they do, and then they get more of our grassroots of just coming up with new ideas. There are a few other groups nationally that we've been wanting to work with a little bit more and partner with, and we've been able to, while meeting them at the cancer conference that Stupid Cancer puts on each year, which is a chance for us to get together. And so it's just been really great to have that. But we are working every year building on how we can help to promote more groups throughout the nation. And that is
so
something...
we're kind of one of the first.
We are.
Congratulations. Yes. Jade, Shelley, that's fantastic. Before we talk about what the group does,
okay,
what would you like our audience and me to know about your journey? That, again, we might be like you, we don't know someone else who has had this experience.
I
And so
think-
what would you like us to know about you?
I think the big thing, and this could just be me personally, but there are some things that others prefer as well, but not to be afraid to ask about what somebody's going through, even if they're done with treatment. It's 6 months after treatment, a year after treatment. It's still good to check up with people because it's a new way of living. That after you've had cancer, that's part of your life. It's a chapter in your life. It doesn't just go away. And I think that was what I believed as well, is, oh, you're okay, you're in remission.
You're right.
Move back to how it was. And life isn't the same. So just checking in with people, I think, is very important. And not being afraid. It's sometimes better to say what can be considered a wrong thing than it is to not say anything.
Really? Because I would think you'd want to move on and not think about it and not be asked about. I would think you would not
Right.
want to be thought about it.
And
But it's-
there are some people who are that way, and then there's some that they might not want to necessarily go through all the gory details, but there are some people who it's cathartic for them to talk about it and asking, hey, do you have a follow-up appointment coming up? Or how was your last follow-up appointment? Everything's still looking okay? Because you continually see your oncologist for months and years after you're in remission. And so just to have somebody check in on how that's going, and also it's a little mini celebration if everything's looking great, and you get to share that good news. So that's also a good thing.
Do you identify yourself then? I mean, it's a stupid question because I know the answer, but do you identify yourself as a cancer survivor?
Absolutely.
Of course, of course.
Absolutely. From the day you're diagnosed until end of life, you're a survivor.
Outliving adolescent and young adult cancer group. Outliving, that's the name of your group.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you come up with that?
We hadn't officially come up with a name for our group when we had our first, what we call meetups. And our very first meetup, we got a private tour of a local brewery and got to see, and they did a private dining area for us and things, and we got to eat and taste and all kinds of fun stuff. And there were 9 of us at our first meetup, and we were trying to come up with a name. And it was actually Amy, who's our mentor and our go-between with UNM, and she said, "You're out here living." And then it all kind of clicked for us. We're like, we're out living, and it represents both two different terms. The outliving is we outlived what we went through, endured what we went through, and we all have that in common. But also, we're not letting it hold us back. We're out in the world living life, and so that's how we came up with our name.
What does your support group do? Tell me a little bit the mechanics of it and how you join and when you meet and what types of
Absolutely.
organizations.
We try to be very non-formal, especially we do a lot of that in our life with, as you mentioned earlier, work and school and things. So we meet together. It's formally meeting together, but it's informal in what we do. And so we do anything from, we've gone to New Mexico United games, we've gone to Isotopes games, and we'll rent out like the big patio for everybody to eat and hang out on. We go to live music events. We'll do more casual things of just going and eating pizza together. And we've met in the park and barbecued, and just different events that are fun for all of us, but also give us a chance to talk, but also keep us busy. And we try to do, we have people that will come up with different activities, and we'll do our best to accommodate all suggestions. And we meet, it's about every other month at this point. There tends to be some informal ones that people get together as well in between that. Or if somebody is having a hard time, we'll make it a point to get together with them, at least a small group of us, to be that support system, because that's what we're there for. We are on social media, Facebook, Instagram. We have a mailing list, an email list where I'll send out all the information.
I get your emails, a
Yes,
lot of them.
yes.
I mean, that's wonderful.
And so,
Because it sounds like you're so active. The group is so
yeah,
active.
we try to be, and I also try very hard not to send out too many, become one of those spam emails. So it's enough where if there's something that needs to be said, that's why we're emailing you. Right now, we are working on a bigger event on May 10th. We are having an AYA, or Adolescent and Young Adult Summit, a one-day summit, where we have national speakers coming, and so we have a track for our survivors, And we have a track for the medical professionals who also want to learn more about the AYA community. And it will be May 10th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's completely free to all visitors, all folks who want to come. And it's just a chance to get together. It is in a more formal setting, but it's also good to continue to be educated on what's happening with our age group and what's happening with cancer survivorship.
How do they contact you for information about your organization and about this May 10th group?
There's both on social media. I'm the one of the main people who gets the messages. So just sending your name and information to me either on Facebook Messenger or Instagram messaging, and
that would be looking up. I think I just Googled it. Looking up out there.
Yeah, looking out Outliving, and the Outliving Cancer Survivorship, and it will pop up. And just sending a direct message, and I'll be able to get your information into our mailing list or answer any questions anybody has. And then I'll make sure that everybody has my email as well from there. So.
Who sponsors this, and is there a charge to be part of this support group?
No, we do work in partnership with UNM through the Comprehensive Cancer Center, and we do have a grant through them. And most everything that we do, we try as hard as we can to keep it low cost to no cost for all participants. And it's just a chance, because we know, especially with young adults going to college and going through things like that, especially with financially going through cancer treatment, is very costly. And it can be, especially with like prescriptions and things, can be double the cost that it is for most other survivors. So there's a lot of that financial aspect. And so we just try to keep everything either no cost or low cost for everything. And there's also opportunities for scholarships and things if somebody needs help with.
How many are in your support group?
Right now we have 78 active members.
From New Mexico?
Most of New Mexico. We do have a few people who have either left and they come back when they can to participate when we have our bigger events. So we have some that have moved away for jobs and family and things, but they still come back and participate.
Support, it's a support group, and really for mental health, because that's part of the aspect. The physical health is taken care of by your oncologist.
Yes.
Mental health is by the support group, but I imagine people have their own counselors as well.
Absolutely, and we are working on having a formal kind of sit in a circle and talk support group as well, because some people do want that and request that. So we are working on that, and we have several counselors and medical professionals through both UNM and also Presbyterian Cancer Center, their cancer wing, that is willing to be that, because not all of us have that professional mental health training, and we want to make sure that we're giving the
But I'm saying cancer survivors probably have their own professional that they go to.
Yeah,
this is just adolescents and young adults their own age they can talk to. So new members, did they feel like you felt? Like, oh, I have this, I want to know if I'm supposed to be feeling this way? Have you run across that people, the new people who joined your support group felt like you, but now you are there to help them?
Yes, there are some. I've had over the years, not necessarily where they bring it up in the beginning, but a year later we'll bring up this, I'm so glad I found you, it helped me through a hard time. And that's been really nice. And then there's been connections made where, depending on the cancer that somebody had, they get to find somebody else who had that cancer, and they become very close friends and partners through that to be able to have somebody to speak with. So that's been really nice to be able to have that connection for them. But it's nice to see, and for people who are looking for that, to be able to find it. And then there's some people who come from another state, who this is what we were doing in our group, and then we're able to utilize some of their knowledge and know-how as well. So it's been really nice to have that.
What types of things are important for adolescents and young adult cancer survivors? What types of things do you discuss about feelings and the future and just getting through the medical appointments, which is tough for anybody?
It's just reminding everybody that there is somebody there who we are all of our stories are different. Everybody's diagnosed at different times in their life, different cancers, different stages. but we all kind of know what the other person is going through in some point. And so just helping each other to know this is what I did for my appointments, or this helped me with this aspect. Sometimes
Can you give me some examples of what you've said?
There's, when going through active treatment, one of the things is been, one of the main things has been you go through a lot of like nausea and things, and just what helped certain people. Because yes, there's medications that help, but there's also, you know,
Eating crackers.
exactly, different things like that that helped. And so just giving those little tips, like, hey, this helped me, or I made sure I did my treatment in the morning because that gave me a chance. Like just little things that worked. Everything, everybody's different, but different things work, and it's worth a shot. There's also helping each other with how do you tell your employer if you're starting a new job, because hey, some people have their appointments, follow-ups every 6 months. Some of them have every 3 months, and that's kind of hard to bring that up with your employer. Or sometimes do you want to bring it up with your employer? You might be in a stage where they don't necessarily need to know what's going on at that point. And so helping weighing pros and cons of, do you tell an employer, do you not tell an employer? How do you bring it up? And also there's been aspects of how do you talk to your parents about certain things, because especially if you're young, when you go through treatment, it's hard to kind of break that bond. You don't want to break it completely, but also you're ready to go out on your own. And how do you have those conversations with your parents? Do you need an advocate there to have that conversation? We're happy to help with those things too. And so,
a co-founder also is Tyler Tabor.
yes.
He wasn't able to be with us today.
Not today, yes.
But what would you like to share about Tyler and co-founding this with you? He was the one who went to Minneapolis.
Yeah, he went to Minneapolis as well. It's where we met. And Tyler's awesome. He was at a different stage in life when he was diagnosed. So what's been nice is we've been able to kind of bookend both age groups as well, because I was a little bit on the older side. He was a little bit on the younger side with being diagnosed. But he's an amazing, amazing person. He has a passion for the medical field as well. And so this has been very unique for him to be able to be a cancer survivor, as well as being on the medical side and seeing how that works. He's awesome. He's done a lot of things as well through Stupid Cancer and the conferences. He's been to 3 of them, just like I have. He was actually a keynote speaker at the last conference. So we've just been able to really branch out and help others nationally. He's also hosted digital groups for Stupid Cancer as well. And
he's
so,
young.
Yeah.
You're young, but he's even younger yet.
Yeah,
he's got all this energy to be
just
doing
to see
all that.
his,
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
to see his passion in doing that, and just for us to be able to work together. We've built a really strong friendship. He's also good friends with my husband, who's also a cancer survivor. They've been able to build a strong friendship as well, and be there for each other as 2 men, because it's a little bit different for what men go through in cancer survivorship as well. So,
what's the difference?
I don't know, because I'm not a man, but I know from what I've experienced and what I've heard. So if it's incorrect, they can correct me. But it's the emotions are a little bit different for men going through it. I know there's kind of in our society sometimes that men are strong and you just push past things and keep going, and they don't really sit with their emotions sometimes. Like women have a tendency to have that aspect, and so they have that chance to talk to each other, and I think show that softer side and that side of being a survivor and what they went through, because it is a trauma in life, and sometimes we need to face that, and so I think they face it a little bit differently than females do.
Jade Shelley, who's a co-founder with Tyler Tabor of Outliving Adolescent and Young Adult Cancer Group. We've just got a couple of minutes left. Please share what I haven't touched upon, like you'd like to share with all of us, and an update on you and how are you doing and what are you doing in addition to this.
So a big thing is just knowing, I don't think people realize how many young adult cancer patients there are and cancer survivors there are. It's about 219 people, young adults a day, are diagnosed with cancer. And so this is a very big need, and New Mexico, with us being a large state, we want to make sure that there is still community. And so we work with people northern New Mexico, southern New Mexico, smaller towns. So that's important. And also, like I said, May 10th, we have our Young Adults Cancer Summit coming up. It's free to everybody. So there's information on our social media pages. You can look up as well that there's Young Adults Summit. It'll come up through the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is one of the sponsors. So they'll have it on their website. As far as how I'm doing, overall, things are really well. I've been going for my checkups. I've gotten married since I was diagnosed as well, and we have a wonderful almost 10-month-old foster daughter. And so, just like you said, just keep moving on with life. And I've been able to have some wonderful experiences since my diagnosis and remission.
What a role model you are to that group and to everybody. That's fantastic. Congratulations on your new baby and your marriage. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Come back and say hi to everybody from KCHF TV. We will keep you, all of you, in our prayers and in our thoughts.
Thank you.
And Jade Shelley, she's out living. She's out living. Thanks for watching the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Make it a great week with your family, and we will see you next time. And remember, look them up. You can find them easily. Outliving. Aya, wonderful. It is the Adolescent and Young Adult Cancer Survivor Group. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program, email us at info@kchftv.org or call us at 505-345-1991. Join us again for Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater.